Where are you joining us from tonight, Goddess?
I'm currently in Dallas. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. At first I couldn't, but we can hear you now. So you're in Dallas.
I'm from Minneapolis.
Oh, you're in Minneapolis, where I'll be on the 15th.
No, I'm from Minneapolis, but I'm in Dallas.
I got you. You're from Minneapolis. You're in Dallas. I got you. My apologies, Queen. Now, I'm looking at your profile pic and I see it's an animated photo of you. But if that is you, I would presume that you are a light-skinned sister. Is that correct?
Yes, I am so light that people think I am mixed, and I'm not. I'm a light-skinned Black woman. I have dreadlocks.
Got you. So a light-skinned sister. Tell me about the challenges you have had being so light in the Black community.
I most certainly will. Before I get into that, I want to thank Miss Ayoba.
Yes, Sister Ayoba.
For hours, my dear sir. And you're welcome to get me in here. So thank you, sister. And then also, Dr. Umar, I wanted to let you know so that, because you actually have met me twice, sir. And I've talked to you, I've texted you. I'm a teacher. I met you in Beijing, China.
Ah, you was in China when I was there.
Yes, and I met you in Dallas at the same event Miss Megan mentioned earlier.
Oh, powerful.
This year.
Powerful. Oh, wow. Glad to make your acquaintance again, Queen.
So I wanted to touch on a lot of different things that people
Go right
said.
ahead. Go right ahead.
Like I said, I'm a light-skinned Black woman. I happen to have hazel eyes, and I have clearly nappy hair. Like, I've gotten perms and everything, and I currently have dreadlocks, like nappy dreadlocks. I have very tight spiral hair. My father is your complexion, Dr. Umar, and my mother is like J-Lo's complexion. So I'm actually lighter than both of my parents, and I do not have white in me. I am a couple tribes of Native American and Black. Gotcha. Between both parents. So yes. But it's very frustrating because people think I'm like the Lady Bella earlier,
yes,
who is lady. They treat me and think that I'm like her. And she mentioned in what the way she communicated, she's light skinned and she said mixed. We're not always the same. Okay. As a light skinned Black woman, I was raised to be Black. I don't even
not interchangeable. Go ahead. Sorry, sis.
Yes, I don't even think about the fact that I'm a light-skinned person unless one of three things happens. Either one, a guy likes me because of it, which a lot of people have mentioned. That's actually, I would say 50% of the issues that we have with this whole topic of colorism stems from that. Because guys are not talking about that. The only difference they have is light-skinned men are seen as weak. That's it. I know, Dr. Umar, you mentioned that there's a difference with picking, and I get that. I don't know from that perspective, but those are the only two things. But the guys aren't mad at each other over it, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
But with the women, that's a whole thing. So that's most of it for the women. I would say another 40%, and this is from my perspective again, is Black women who happen to be any complexion darker than me, automatically thinking that I think I'm better than them. And I don't even realize they think that until they treat me a certain way or say a certain thing. And then I realize, oh, this is what's happening. Colorism is happening here. I don't think of myself as better. I'm just a person just like you. White people don't treat me any different. When I was in China, I didn't get treated any different. When I go anywhere, I don't get treated any different. So I don't even remember until another Black person reminds me in some way, shape, or form. It's never anybody else. So it is just within our community, honestly. People think that we get preferences from other people and stuff. No, we don't. I have all the exact same experiences that any other Black woman educator has said that she has experienced because I'm a teacher. I have all the exact same experiences. I'm on my third school because I leave when I get treated that way.
So are there, would you say, Goddess Atiana, that the presumed light-skinned privilege that I'm hearing so much tonight, light-skinned sisters receive, you would say is it exaggerated or is it non-existent?
I'm not going to say it's non-existent. I just think it only falls into 3 different categories.
Dating is one of them, right?
Yep, dating is one. 2 is childhood trauma, and which another lady said earlier, that trauma then gets perpetuated with the way that the children treat each other, right, from parenting, either parenting or other children, whatever the case may be, but it's from childhood. And then they continue that ideology into adulthood, thinking that all light-skinned people are like that or had experiences like that when they were younger. And no, we don't. Like, we just don't. My mom is also a light-skinned woman, and she got into fights growing up in school. She told me that as I was growing up. So I was raised that this is something that I need to be aware of. I didn't know it as colorism, but I realized that it was a thing that, like, other women, people would look at me a certain way. And so that actually made me diminish myself in certain situations, or if I felt comfortable, I would be my full black self. But that's it. I was never treated like, I never was taught to be better than anyone else. I was just told to be black, like, because that's what we are.
Gotcha.
So, you know what I mean? And my family, between both sides, are all the different shades of the spectrum. Even my mom's dad is like caramel. So, I mean, all shades of the spectrum. And so I just wasn't, it wasn't a thing, but that was my parenting. And notice how a lot of the women that have been talking tonight, that's not the kind of parenting that they've been talking about. I'm probably one of the only people that have said they actually were raised that way. That was a lighter skinned person. So I had trauma from getting teased too. But my trauma, I knew it was coming because my mom told me. She actually experienced it worse because my mom grew up in the 60s, right?
Right.
But in my 30s. So I went through it too. I had a girl try to fight me. She literally was her first week at our school. I didn't even know her name yet. But she told me she wanted to fight me because I was light-skinned. But in the same breath, because this was middle school, so when I was dating in high school and stuff like that, guys would tell me they liked me because I was pretty. Did I date them again? No. So, like, anytime I have anything that's related to my skin complexion, full stop. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And the reason why I get treated the same, you can see how passionate I am. I act like any black woman of any complexion. I act black because I'm black. Anybody that acts black is going to be treated like they're too masculine if they're a woman. Period, point blank. So all these people that are saying that darker skinned black women get treated more masculine, no, any complexion woman that acts like that is treated that way.
Let me ask you this, Sister Atiana, because I've heard this from Chocolate Sisters, and what they've said was light-skinned sisters will exaggerate their challenges that they experience being light-skinned, or even if they don't exaggerate them, they will embellish them somewhat as a strategy to deflect from the fact that they practice some form of light-skin supremacy against darker women, and they don't want to address it or be accountable for it. How would you respond to that?
I would respond by answering a question you've asked other people earlier. Do I have friends that are of other complexions? I have never once had another light-skinned friend. Ever. They haven't even been caramel. They're always chocolate, brown, as you've been saying today, or darker. I've only dated men that were dark, like brown or darker. Like, that's not the people I surround myself with. And I never have, and it's never been a problem. And nobody on this planet can say I've said anything about their complexion in a derogatory way, or a mean way, or a negative way, or anything that could possibly be a hurt or a trauma. I've been treated like I'm that person, but I haven't actually done it.
Okay. I can understand you on that level, for sure. Now, how do you think we can begin to heal from this? Obviously, black men have to stop worshiping our beautiful light-skinned sisters, so above and beyond the same love and attention, we show our dark-skinned sisters. Do you think that would help heal? Or do you think... Okay.
That's a huge part of it. Because that's the only privilege I will say that I have that, colorism does have that I personally have experienced in my life. That's the only privilege I've had is in dating. Because I have had guys tell me that. And just like Bella said, I will immediately stop talking to them. Because that is a turnoff. If that's what you like me for, that's not something I can control. It has nothing to do with actually me. So that's, what are we here for? You're not actually here for me. You're here for a fetish. And I'm not a fetish, just like the other lady was saying. So, yeah. Well said.
Well said, Queen. Thank you for them comments, Sister Atiana. I look forward to seeing you again.
And you too. Oh, I want to finish answering your question.
Oh, please do. I'm sorry. Please do. I'm sorry, Queen. I'm sorry.
No, it's not all of it. So part of it too, most of it, I would say, is parenting. Parents aren't healing. And like you were saying earlier, the generational, traumas go back generations, right? It doesn't just start now. So those parents need to heal so they're not treating their children in all the crazy, poor ways that we've heard many different people. Like it's hurt my soul to hear all those things. So parents need to do that. And then the kids won't have that trauma. And then hopefully the kids won't be teasing them because their parents will be healed too. Right? Because it all starts at home there. And then the kids can learn to love themselves more, like the other lady was saying earlier as well, because that was her point. And then all of this will be better in terms of our self-image or our self-esteem. And then dating will go easier and expressing ourselves and fully loving ourselves and being ourselves as we get older will all be better. So it really starts with parents.
That's a very good point, because psychologically, children by the age of 4 know their race and they know the level of respect that their race gets. They are already conscious of skin tone at 4. This is before kindergarten. So that means when our children go into kindergarten, they already know if they're considered ugly or attractive. And I would even argue that it influences their motivation to learn. And it also influences their behavioral progress as well. A lot of the misbehaving kids are misbehaving because they know that they're less valued because they are dark.
Or they're not, like some people have been saying tonight, they don't get the same attention or the same appreciation of who they are or the same gifts and interests and things like that from adults that are supposed to love them. So there's that too. So yeah, I completely agree. As an educator like yourself, that's all of that is very important.
Got you. Thanks for that, Queen. Thanks so much for your comments, Sister Atiana.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in DeSoto as well.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Goddess. Well said. Well said. Sister Tima, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All right. So for all you brothers and sisters who are listening, Sister Tima, I'm trying to get Sister Simone on. Sister Ayoba, if you can find her, go ahead and pull her in. But if we don't get her, Sister Tima.
I can't find that name. Sorry.
Okay, she was the sister who messaged you probably a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I saw that name.
Yeah. So Sister Tima was with us with our conversation the day before yesterday, and it got kind of heated with the other sister, but they had a very good dialogue barring that. So I'm sure you got some powerful insights on the light skin supremacy issue. Now, where are you joining us from again, Sister Tima? Toronto, right?
No, I'm in Alberta.
Alberta, I was close. And your skin complexion, because your profile pic has your face covered somewhat, would you be light skin? Would you be brown? Or would you be dark?
Oh, I'm brown skin.
Okay, you're brown skin. Give us your opinions, and I know you're going to be honest because I love that about you. You don't play around. You shoot straight, and I love that about you. What's going on with the light skin, dark skin amongst the women, the brothers? Are we worshiping the yellow girls too much? Are black parents at the foundation of this? What is your opinion on the light skin, dark skin, skin prejudice in our community?
Well, I'm going to be quite honest, and I don't think a lot of people are going to like me for saying this, but I think light-skinned girls have an issue with dark-skinned women, personally. Like, I feel like it stems from jealousy, knowing that sometimes they're not going to be as, as exceptional in certain aspects. Because let's be honest, to be a dark-skinned girl in this society, you have to be like above standard. Okay, you can be light-skinned and be mediocre. Like Zendaya, for example. Zendaya is very mediocre. She just gets these roles because she's light-skinned. She's mixed. Okay, but when you're dark-skinned, you have to be really, really exceptional.
You got to be twice as good to get half as much, as Brother Malcolm said.
Yes. And I feel like when we say you have to be twice as good, some people are like, oh, it's for all Black people. No, light skins are sometimes not equated to this. It's usually dark skins and brown skins that have to be twice as good. Because let's be quite honest, light skins are mediocre. They can be mediocre in whatever aspect they want to be, and people are still going to accept them societally. In the system, right? Let's be quite honest. Colorism is systemic. It's not just, oh, like, my feelings are hurt. You said this about my skin tone, da-da-da. No, it goes deep rooted. It's an ism, what stems from a systemic problem, right? So when we're talking about colorism, we have to talk about the systems of which oppresses dark-skinned people and brown-skinned people, right? So it doesn't go both ways. We can't really, like, be colorist towards light-skinned women as much as light-skinned women like to be delusional and say, oh, you guys are being colorist towards me. No, babe. The definition of colorism will literally... Let me read it for you guys, just in case you guys forgot. Let me read it. Okay? So, the definition of colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone. So, if you're not of a dark skin tone or dark skin complexion, you really shouldn't say someone's being colorist towards you. So I'll leave it at that. Light-skinned girls, you guys can be delusional. My mother's a light skin. My father picked her based off of her light skin. So I'm sorry, it's not funny.
So are you? I mean, your comment, Sister Tima, that the light-skinned girls are jealous of the dark-skinned girls because if the dark-skinned girls can outperform or outclass the light-skinned girl in any area, that may be presumed to be that they're so much better because they've had to overcome so much and still outperform you. But couldn't that be viewed as a dark-skinned supremacist attitude?
No, because there's literally no such thing as a dark-skinned supremacy. Like, I'm so sorry. No, it's just not a thing, because let's be quite honest, the dark skins are literally seen as less than, because even look at the entertainment industry. Like, if going to be honest, like, even the modeling industry, it's always, if we see, like, a dark-skinned model, she's a fetish. Like, what's her name? The South Sudanese girl, the South Sudanese models, they're always fetishized, right? They'll put them in these, like, really bright colors, just have them on the forefront. Oh, they're our first Black models, our first dark-skinned models. So, no, there's no such thing as a dark market, and I think it's quite hilarious when people bring that up, because dark-skinned women are not oppressing light-skinned women on the level that light-skinned women are. Let's be quite frank. These light-skinned women will literally, like, belittle them. Right?
Hold that thought, Sister Tima. Hold that thought. Don't go nowhere. Sister Atiana, come back in. This is the sister who spoke just before you, Sister Tima. I wanted to get her reactions to your thoughts so far. Are you still there, Atiana?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What do you think so far of Sister Tima's comments?
All right. Miss Tima, I want to be very respectful to you, lady. I understand the definition of colorism. I've never felt like light-skinned women would be colorists, so I don't feel like it goes that way. The way I've always seen the term, and I'm an English teacher, by the way, the way I've always thought of the term, the way that we use it in our community outside of the definition that you just read, is that it's a phenomenon, a concept that happens within the community. Doesn't really matter which way it goes. It happens in so many different layers, as this whole hours long of conversation has clearly shown all the many layers, that it's not really a one direction kind of thing. It's just a concept that happens within our community. As one person mentioned, it happens in Asia. It happens in Hispanic culture. Like, it happens all over the world. So it's not really something that light-skinned people say is happening. So that part, to be honest, is not really as relevant to me personally. because it's not something I've ever thought or anybody I've ever talked to. It's just not the intellectual way that we think of that concept. It really is just something that hinders us in terms of the way that we look at our identity as individuals and the traumas that have caused it. And that's what's really coming at each other when these things happen, whether it's in dating, whether it's in childhood, whether it's, in church, like that one lady said, like it's an ideology. It doesn't matter who thinks it. It's happening. So I don't really think my personal focus is not the way that she focuses on the term. That's all.
Go ahead, Sister Tima.
Was she addressing me? I thought she was addressing someone else.
No, she was responding to your comments.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll speak directly to you, but if you felt like I was, then okay, take it however you want. But Dr. Umar, I have a few questions for you, actually.
Go ahead.
Okay, so do you feel as though what are the men you spoke about, like, do you feel as though they have the same power to exclude? Do you feel as though you have the same power to exclude them and discriminate against them, and leave them on a conscious basis because of their skin tone? Do you feel as though you can do that?
Not really. Well, remember, we don't really control much. Unfortunately, black men, so we can't really systematically discriminate against one another because we don't have our own institutions. I wouldn't look to discriminate against any of them. But go ahead and continue, Goddess.
Also, another question. So, does your attraction, because I know you're married to two light-skinned women.
No. I'm not married, Queen. The two sisters that I am not, the two beautiful women that everyone thought I married, that was a fashion show, a wedding scene inside of a fashion show that we had put on as part of the first annual FDMG festival. That was not a real marriage, even though it was treated so by black media.
And I met Jamie. She's a wonderful lady. I met her at that Dallas event earlier this year.
Oh, yes. Beautiful sister. Beautiful sister. She was one of the sisters who played the role of the wife in the wedding scene for the fashion show. So that was not a real wedding. But what were you going to... but Tima, I don't want you to switch your question up. I want to hear... Let's assume they were my wives. I want you to finish your question.
Okay, so does your attraction to them cause you to not challenge them, even though you know the historic truths? How,
wait, back up. You said does my I didn't hear all that. You said does my attraction to them? I didn't hear the rest.
Does your attraction to them allow you to basically let me phrase it in a way that you'll understand. Okay, so does your attraction to them, light-skinned women, now allow you to not challenge them in a way you think they should be challenged, or I feel as though personally they should be challenged?
Not at all. Believe it or not, there was a situation that took place at my festival that I thought involved a light-skinned sister discriminating against a dark-skinned sister. And it led to us having a very in-depth three-way telephone conversation to rectify it. So to your point, there was a situation that happened at the festival where I had to address after the festival between a dark-skinned sister and a light-skinned sister, because I thought that there was a possibility that light-skinned supremacy was being practiced against the darker sister. So, no, I don't tolerate that. I will not tolerate that.
What happened? What was it really?
It was a misunderstanding. At least that is how both sisters decided to conclude the differences that they had. So they agreed that it was a misunderstanding and they left it at that. I am very, very sensitive to people being mistreated, not just being mistreated based on skin tone, being mistreated based on class, level of education. I don't care what it is. When people are around me, I want them to be treated as equals. I do not tolerate cliques. I don't like bourgeois people. I don't like elitists. You know, we was raised poor in North Philly, so I know what it's like to have people look down on you because you have less than them. So I don't tolerate any of that, and I won't tolerate dark-skinned women making light-skinned women feel uncomfortable. I won't tolerate light-skinned women making dark-skinned women feel uncomfortable. And I can tell you right now, once we are fully up and running, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to ban a lot of people from my campus. I can already foresee people saying stuff out of their mouth that is full of skin tone prejudice that's going to lead to me banning them from the campus. I am not going to have it, whether they light, whether they dark, whether they mixed race. You know, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I very much believe that we are one family, and anybody who does not come to that campus with the right energy will be banned from it.
I love it.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Tima. I appreciate you. Hang on there because you might... Go ahead. You want to say something else? Go right ahead.
Yeah, so, okay, I feel as though light-skinned women aren't understanding my point because I'm getting a lot of back channels from them saying I'm bitter and miserable. You guys are weird. Leave me alone. Speaking of my experience, I'm 22. You old, bitter people can literally leave me alone.
Stop being mean, Tima. Stop being mean. Stop being mean.
No, I'm just joking. But no, I feel as though you guys really need to, like, pick up a history book and know, like, how deeply rooted colorism is in the Black community. It's deeply, deeply rooted. Like, when we talk about, like, the whole Rosa Parks incident, right? Like, the first person to sit on a bus was not Rosa Parks. It was a dark-skinned, young teen mother. Like, she was a dark-skinned...
Her name is Claudette.
Teen mom. Yes, Claudette. She was a teen mom, pregnant, like, all of that, right? So, and she was dark-skinned. So who's going to take her seriously? Literally no one. Because she was dark-skinned, and then at that, she was a teen mom, right? Yes. So Rosa Parks, as a lighter-skinned Black woman, she was the perfect face for it, you know. So yeah,
They chose for that role. That was a strategy, Tima. And I'm gonna address what you said first.
I know.
I don't know how long you were here. All right, but let me tell you something. It does go both ways. It can. Is it majority your way? Absolutely. And
Sister Ayo, but your phone sound kind of... Are you far away from the phone? Your voice a little...
My ear pods. How about now? Is that better?
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be quick too. You can't say things like that. We're all in this together. If you're here to educate, then stop talking at people and try talking to people. I never, ever, ever make whatever I experience bigger than my darker sisters because I know the difference. And if you want to explain it to people that way, you know, maybe you should consider that. Everybody's experiences in terms of Black people, what we cannot be doing is having oppression Olympics within each other. This is crazy. Agreed. Are dark-skinned people, do they get the shitty end of the stick? Absolutely. No one can refute that. But you cannot say... We're all Black at the end of the day. I have a scar from a 2x4 that I got hit in the head with from dark-skinned sister to prove that it does go both ways. But I don't go around telling that story because I know what systemic perceived white supremacy does, and I know that's why that happened. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that colorism goes both ways, and I don't agree personally, but agree to disagree.
For sure.
I personally don't believe it. It's like racism goes both ways. Like, we can be racist towards white people. No, but that's what I'm saying right now. As I stated before, colorism is an ism, right? It's systemic. So, do you understand what I mean? So, obviously, I don't think it's gonna go both ways. I don't agree with that.
Do you have the hit in your head, ma'am? I have a scar. Would you like to see it? How you want to tell me that? I'm telling you.
I did not discredit your.
Let's do this. Let's do this real quick, ladies. Let's do this.
I did not discredit your experience.
Hold that thought for 1 second, ladies. Let's bring Sister Simone in. We still got Sister Atiana, so I want her to give some more feedback as well. But Sister Simone, come on into the conversation, guys. Sister Simone is a light-skinned African sister as well. Are you there, Simone?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. I can hear you clearly now. Joining us from Las Vegas. Have you been listening to the conversation?
The whole conversation,
Okay.
and I want to say, like, I'm happy for this. This is a issue that it's a sensitive topic. First things first. I'm glad that we're having it. I'm glad this is a safe space. Just going back to people that I've heard in the beginning, I mean, from hearing about how it's huge in Jamaica and how it's huge in the UK, and for me, it starts with the parent. And I do agree with you when you say it's the mother, because it was my mother. My mother is very, very light. Like, she always got mistaken for something else because my grandmother was from Sweden. And so I remember her telling me, when I got older enough to understand that, hey, you're so beautiful as a baby. I used to take you to the Kingdom Hall because I grew up in the Christian church, the Kingdom Hall. People used to wake you up just to see your eyes. You know what I mean? Like, are you serious? You know what I mean? Like, and just instilling, like, you have to perm your hair. You have to keep it pressed. You have to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous. And, like, literally, I just got out of a perm 3 years ago. And I'm so happy I left it. I'm so happy I don't do that to myself anymore. And just knowledge of self is everything. We both have it bad, light skin and dark skin. I feel you when you say that dark skin go through the verbal abuse. Light skins go through the physical abuse. I've been bullied. You know what I mean? Like, I remember those times, and just being like, why? Or like trying to hang out with, darker skinned people and, classmates and things like that. And my mom picking me up from school, like, you should get a lighter friend. You know what I mean? Like, why would you say that? And so I say this to just say that I believe it does stem from the home. And it's not my mother's fault. It's white supremacy's fault. It's what she was indoctrinated with. It's what she grew up with. She grew up being terrorized too. You know what I mean? And never let it go. And then she put it onto her children. So it's a sad thing. I want to heal it. I'm not here to blame it. I'm not here to do like the sister was saying, the oppression Olympics, however you say, who had it worse. I'm not here for that. I want to change it. We need to change it so that we can grow, so that we can have unity. I've already started reaching out to women who move me by their words, you know what I mean? Because my whole goal is to meet different people, especially women, that build a sisterhood in every continent and around America. I never been to New Jersey. I met a sister from New Jersey who spoke a couple of days ago. Maybe we can link up one day. I don't, you know what I mean? I hope so. I mean, we've already started having conversations, and I'm very genuine about it because knowledge itself is everything. Pan-Africanism or perish. That's it. That's all. We're all black in the eyes of a white man, in the eyes of an Asian man. I get it too. Just because I'm white, I still get it. I have broad features. I have big nose. I have big lips. I embrace it now. I mean, even when I smile, you know what I'm saying? Like, my gums are black. Like, I love it. You know what I mean? I embrace it. I mean, coming from a point to a time where I didn't even want to tan because my mom said, stay light, stay light. Like, I don't even want to tan. I don't even want to get sun. The sun was made for me. I'm a sun kid, So I don't know if it's a mother thing. I don't know if it could be a dad thing too. But I grew up without my father for the most part, and my dad was a beautiful chocolate man, straight up from Louisiana, but they split up, and I really miss him. I really miss him, and I just can't wait to get past through all of this because we need each other. And that's all I really wanted to say. I know it's late.
No, it's okay. That was powerful.
I'm sorry to the whole community, and I want to say I love all you guys, and we all we got. That's it.
And
like, all of this petty differences, it don't matter. I caught hell. I ran out of my job at PetSmart. I was a dog groomer for 10 years. White people thinking I'm going to hurt their dog because I come up. You know what I mean? No, I love dogs. I love animals. I can tell you about all different kind of breeds and which one will fit your personality.
wow.
You know what I mean? But I couldn't take it anymore. And I guess I quit right at the right time because I quit right before COVID.
Wow. Wow.
You know, so
Wow.
everything happened for a reason. And I'm just happy to be in this group. I'm happy to know who I am. And I'm happy to hear everybody's feedback. And I'm sorry that we went through this. And I'm sorry.
It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Don't cry. Don't cry. Let me do this. Stay with us. Everybody stay with us. Tima, Simone, Tiana, Queen Mother, obviously Sister Ayoba. We have a sister who hasn't spoken yet. Sister Indana. Am I getting your name correct?